What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for joining for another awesome live stream for Stock Talk, where we're going to be looking at some charts. Currently, the last 30 minutes, we've been kind of looking at some potential movements here within the S&P 500 futures. We're down nearly 1.5% now, so forth. It's going to be most likely a crazy week ahead of us. Yep, exactly. Roberts is basically calls it out as he sees it. What's up, makeshift player? How you doing, my friend? Thank you again for joining, everyone. This is going to be a potential wild week ahead, even though with what up, Kelly D, Alan. Thank you so much again for joining, everyone. Appreciate it. So more people start joining in here and so forth. They kind of get things evident and flowing here. Let me go ahead and just go straight in kind of into the charts, because again, I've been kind of looking at this ever since 6 o'clock p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time on when the futures opened up, looking at where could this potentially be going down to. You're never going to catch the bottom completely, but just to be mindful of where some price targets and some attractive activities could be coming in. Bob, what up? Schluler? Cross? What's up, bro? I am completely hacking these names up. All right, you should be able to see my charts here now. That's fantastic. All right, so we're looking here again. This is at /ES. The futures again open up at 6 p.m. EST on Sunday. So this is going to be our first glimpse on what people are looking to buy here. Yeah, exactly. Roberts, you're completely right. Volatility equals opportunities. But I also believe, too, you have the flip side of people look at volatility as fear and stress. So they have to feel like they have to be completely out of the market and things like that. So it's kind of be very mindful of. Skylar, okay, sorry. MCD puts tomorrow. Lord, we can look at that. Hello from Florida. Oh man, what part of Florida? I agree. Volatile allows us to size up some crazy short-term gains. Yeah, it's for me, the way I trade, it's very hard to potentially get a huge down kick in the short side of things, because again, you have to be timing is everything in shorting. So be very thoughtful with that. All right. So looks like quite a few people joined. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining in. We got a wonderful treat tonight. Hopefully you got your H2. I got my, how many ounces is in this damn thing? It's like 72,000 ounces in this. I got this at Costco. It's alkaline water. It's like has a high pH level. I thought it was supposed to be good for me. I don't know. It tastes like water. It tastes good. Anyways, so let's do a quick little market overview. So I did a video on Friday morning on the overall downturn of the market, that we had a huge gap down, potentially going further. So we talked about on SPY, we'll actually switch to SPY with the indicators we had up, of a potential target around the 295 level. We're kind of in around that trading level right now. So that being said, we could potentially go down to this level. Again, these are going to be very key levels on the daily side between the 34 and 50-day, 34 and 200-day exponential moving average. And then you kind of have the slow slaggler here, the 50-day simple moving average here, not the exponential moving average like other things. I kind of use this as the simple moving average because there's just so many folks that when they literally tie everything to the 50-day moving average. So a lot of technicians look at the 50-day moving average. If it's above it, the trend is going higher. If it's below it, it's still going lower. It has to kind of, that 50-day is really, really huge for a lot of people. Miami, Florida, nice. That's awesome. Thank you guys for joining in. Okay, we got a lot of people. I don't know where that is. Oh, Central Florida. Okay, I'm not familiar. I'm just kind of familiar with I think it's like the Tampa Bay area, and then of course, then further down the Gulf Coast in Fort Myers, and then even further down, I think it's called Bonita Springs. I'm sorry, I get sidetracked here. We can talk about all that for some other time. All right, so besides talking about wonderful places in Florida, again, looking for the overall markets to potentially go lower due to the fact of so many different various things going on in the world. A lot of people, this was a very easy ride up here. We have had a lot of huge gap ups in the market, especially this last one, beginning of the week. Huge gap up, multiple percents, and then kind of staggering sideways. You start seeing the 5 and 8 exponential moving average pointing down. It's nothing to be too terrified yet. Indiana, nice. California, wow, welcome. Looking for this 5 and 8 exponential moving average. If it starts crossing through the 21, that's when I start getting a slightly concerned in the sense of potentially further downside. So it's going to have to be kind of sit on your hands and wait scenario to be looking at what potentially can happen. Again, the first initial downturn, we closed below 21. Not ideal. And as of a lot of people look at it, markets do not settle and they don't change on a Friday. It's usually that momentum of whatever is of heavy selling or heavy buying kind of just goes through the weekend because people are sitting on their hands, biting their fingernails or whatever they do on like, hey, I missed that opportunity on Friday to short, or I missed that opportunity on Friday to go long. So there's going to be more people coming in the market. More people got to look at their accounts over the weekend, looking at the market selling off, and they're trying to get out of the market because they made 20-30% on this overall uptick the last 2 or 3 months. So they're being very mindful of that. So again, key takeaway for SPY, then we'll start jumping into some tickers here from you guys on the wonderful chat side. 295 is going to be a very key level. If we break through it, we're going to be kind of coming to like the 290 level. I'm actually going to low mover this just a little bit because I have a feeling that if we break through the 200, it's going to be kind of a little bit sloppy there. Because again, I was kind of working on the video. I don't know if you guys saw it. That CNBC or someone was saying that this is not a bull or a bear market. It's a kangaroo market. So it's just constantly bouncing up or down. I was like, they should have just gone full crazy and just called it like a Tigger market. I'm just kind of bouncing around. So that is basically the initial things. And to be completely sane and kind of give you I wouldn't say the worst case scenario, but a really bad case. So the swing high to swing low to then swing high again. We could potentially see, I don't think we're going to hit the bottom as of right now. If we do, I just did that at or above, didn't I? This level down here of 262 is it's very far off for sure. But if this selling continues, we start seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21. You start seeing the 34 actually start curling lower. This potential price target down here kind of comes in place. This is a 10% chance as of right now, unless there's some other shoe drops in the market of something just going crazy. This is a very large seal of a potential floor in the market. And of course, that 218 down here is super over-exaggerated to my understanding and the way I look at it. So the 216 is a potential target that we could see if everything just keeps on going sour and going lower. Okie dokie. So enough about the negativity on the overall market. Let's look at some individual tickers. So let me scroll. Oh my gosh, we got a lot of people coming here from Brazil. What's up, Steve? Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Well, where do we start at here? Let's see. I'm holding TQQQ calls. Wish me luck, Ryan. What is that? Is that like an inverse or something of a stock? RZ SPY weekly puts going to be big with some. If you're already in them, it's going to be a nice day tomorrow if you bought some puts on Friday. Because again, we're down 42 points, nearly a 1.5%. That's going to be coming like nice little premium for you. Los Angeles, awesome. I love Los Angeles. Let's see here. If you guys have any ticker symbols, please let me know. Yeah, Kroger, Smith & Wesson, Thursday before market open. So Kroger, this is actually one that I can talk about directly is because we bought some calls on this for a potential earnings play run. And so what was the reasoning behind it? Due to the fact of this is really one of the only places really in the market that didn't really sell off as steep as the other companies that we saw. So looking at here, the 5 and 8 moving averages are really kind of wound up. Again, with earnings on the horizon, this kind of makes it a potential stock that can spike higher or lower. Again, we make our probability of bets. We're betting on that this is going to go higher into earnings. Not sure if we're going to hold it into earnings, maybe partial size, take some of the profits on the table before that Thursday earnings that we're talking about here. Looking for, again, the parabolic SAR is still below the tickers here, which is great. We do see a very tight formation here with all the moving averages kind of like basically turning into one super moving average here, kind of just make kind of like a really tight rubber band squeeze. So this is basically kind of indicating for a potential pop higher. So kind of give you some understanding here, we kind of saw that tight pattern here, not as tight, but then once it kind of got released, it kind of went slightly higher. But again, there wasn't much earnings on the horizon. It kind of just slightly grazed higher because again, we are talking about a grocery store. So this is not a crazy growth company that is developing new apps or trying to target people for marketing things or whatever. So Kroger, very interesting. We would like to see this, of course, higher. We're looking for the initial price target about 34 or above. So we're going to do that. Oh, analyze. There we go. At or above, correct. And of course, if it starts breaking lower, again, with the overall market could be taking this lower tomorrow and getting some headwind, we could be seeing this lower again. We're going to be looking around the 31 to the 32 level. 31 and a half to 31. I'm going to kind of hold this with a little bit more fortitude, so we're going to talk about 30-ish, 30-50 there for potential lower prices. Again, playing this with very small size again, nothing too crazy, because again, when there's a lot of volume in the market and volatility particularly, and a lot of fear, it can really, again, create that kangaroo or tiger marketplace where you just have these huge jumps in the markets up or down. That's basically that. So let's do Ford. Oscar says Ford. Okay, the chat's going pretty fast here. Let's do Ford. So Ford had a nice little run up, but kind of sold off a little bit here. So you can kind of see here again, it did break out into the 200, but then failed in coming back down. It has had a nice bounce above the 21 exponential moving average here, and now it's continuing higher. Again, we'll see on how this plays out into the rest of the week. Be very mindful of keeping it somewhat on a short leash. If it starts breaking below like the $6 level, potentially showing some more support around $5.50. I'm not currently in this, so we'll see what happens here. If it starts breaking out, again, trying for a push to the 200-day, which would be a nice, very bullish sign there. I got a magic 8-ball picking. Nice. Russell says he wants NCLH. That's NCLH. That's Norwegian, right? Kind of did a video on cruise lines. So this basically, they all fall in the same kind of category. All the cruise lines, they're basically all in the same. Literally, lack of better words, they're on the same boat. They're on the same boat of there is no real competitive advantage as they can have right now, is because they're all basically in the same waters, again, no pun intended, on having this overall virus really ransack their businesses and their models for making money. Again, their business is taking people on a boat, showing them a great time, shoveling food down their throats, and then bringing them back where they came off. That's their business. They're not able to do that right now, so this is going to be a very interesting time to see on how this overall plays out. Again, somewhat similar to Ford, we kind of get a bounce off the 21 exponential moving average, trying to push higher. But again, I think there's still going to be some, I want to say silly investors, but novice investors that are just buying these stocks just because they're cheap and they think it's going to go back up. So be very mindful of that. Again, it didn't go anywhere near its 200-day exponential moving average. So again, if it's trading sideways for potentially between the 18 to potentially even down to 15, that would be a normal pattern for it as well. MRN is talks about the Japanese. Okay, interesting. Short NKLA. Is that you talking about Nikola Motors? That's NKLA. I get a lot of pings about that. I got a lot of I won't say hate, because hate is wrong, but dislike towards again, it's my opinion. I'm not saying this company is a piece of crap. I'm just saying that the stock is super inflated, and people are looking at it as a cheaper Tesla alternative, and it really has improved itself. Like, if you look at the Tesla's early side of charts, it really just was ransacked as well. Like, it was the first one in the market to really push the EV stuff forth. And now Nikola's kind of coming in on the tails of Tesla and really taking some, I wouldn't say market share, but they're just taking some easy capital from some individuals who should keep their money slightly more in their pockets. So again, this hasn't been traded that very much, so it's only been a couple days here for Nikola Motors. The overall chart just screams FOMO mentality, with people just looking for the 5 and 8 exponential moving average. It has just been really high momentum here. RSI has been printing red a couple times again. Each time it prints red for 2 or 3 days, it kind of gets a pullback. So potentially if this curls back up to potentially 75, this could be another sell-off to a steeper level. Again, looking for some price targets around 34, honestly, for this particular stock. And then for higher, it's an unknown territory. It can easily go to 100 if a lot of people get behind it. 10%. Makeshift player, we can do BA. All right, so BA is kind of the same scenario where people kind of came in of the sense of, oh, the company's going to be turned around and this stock's going to be potentially $400 again. BA is not as great as a company as it used to be by some of the problems it's had from its former CEO, and then of course with the overall Max 8 stability stall control system. Still waiting on a formal approval from the FAA on that. Looking for the potential breakout sign around 250. We initially thought that with this whole momentum up, we thought that the 250 limit would be kind of the top here. We kind of missed it by, I don't know, $15, and then kind of came strong down. Kind of had a bounce here. This bounce is somewhat intended, again, around the 21 exponential moving average, kind of bouncing higher. Potentially, again, with the overall market starting on Monday, could be seeing some more price targeting between the 188 to the 170 lower levels. And again, for up higher, we're going to have to be testing those short-term high there, and then potentially, if it does come back down to around 150, potentially for a buying opportunity. Vincent says SPY put 255 due to, yeah, that guy. I think you're calling Vincent about the individual who did the nearly $2 million in those SPY puts. I think he's still holding it. We'll have to look at Monday if those 300, was it three? No, there was 33,000 puts at that strike price. We did BA, Nikola, Christian, and then we can do Amazon. Yes, we'll do Amazon. So Amazon is a strange beast for sure. Completely different. It's not really, honestly, Amazon. It's on its own little path, its own little island, its own little orbit around this universe of what we call the stock market, of just being very well maintaining this 21. So if it starts coming down to the 21, so it can be around I'm going to call it the 2466 level for a potential bounce. Again, level 2 from be around the 2430, but again, we're talking about a $2,500 stock that this could be bouncing around for quite some time. Again, if the overall market goes down, it is tied to a lot of ETFs, so that could drag it down just slightly, but not to the full extent of like a 5% downturn like we saw previously, this would be a little bit lighter because, again, it's somewhat, I wouldn't say immune to anything. It just kind of has a huge grasp in very key markets, and it just is able just to collect money from those key markets. Oh my gosh, the chat just went really fast. I just lost everything. SRNE, is that pharmaceutical company? I was looking at this. So this is kind of, yes, Sorrento Therapeutics. So this one's interesting. Again, it had that huge spike up due to, I think, probably positive data of a potential vaccine to the virus, or kind of stop some kind of antibody. Taking a drink of water 1 second. Just some like antibody to the virus. Again, really holding the 21 quite tightly. The parabolic SAR is really much above it. It's still somewhat heavy bound because, again, we had that huge jump up from like $2.50 to like $10 within 2 days. A lot of volume came in again with those 2 days, and then really kind of just selling off here potentially. Really key point of holding around the 21, potentially the 34. We do kind of have a first sign of a squeeze coming up. I kind of want to look at this on a 4-hour chart. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. This might be a good potential to build a small position of this. I'm actually going to put that on my long, maybe buy list for this week. So we're going to do SRNE. Thank you for that, my friend. We'll look at that one for sure. AMC puts January or August, maybe. AMC is that wonderful movie theater, which it had earnings and it didn't do it. Again, it lost a lot of money, but I think people are just, again, playing this as a bounce, and then once the economy starts opening up, it's going to continue just printing money and going higher. So, kind of here with the overall market, it's been holding the 21 very well, even with earnings coming out losing $2.22. It kind of bounced off the 34. So that basically puts it in our mindset that it's got to continue to hold the 34. And we could draw some make-believe lines here to kind of potentially project out that 34 exponential moving average if things continue going higher. Again, with Friday, it was up 13.39% on a Friday when mostly a lot of things were down and slightly trending even lower. With the overall market opening up tomorrow, depending on how it is, again, we are currently down only $38 on the S&P 500, so a little bit of like 1.2%. We could be just trading sideways again. That 21 and 34 would be very key levels, and another try to push to kind of break above that $6 to $7 range to kind of break above that 200 exponential moving average. But again, be very mindful. This stock has been trending lower even since previous to the outbreak of the virus. So just be mindful of that. Don't be surprised if it starts getting up to some lofty prices above the 200, where people are just kind of getting out and it kind of loses its swag, lack of better words. Sydney says BA puts currently hold BA 552 weeklies. Are you saying for this week? I would be very careful because that's going to be a pretty big drop if you're expecting BA to drop 50. What is it at? So $40 almost to like the 150 level. I have my initial price target at 147 for a really optimal buy, but again, that's super conservative and really far out. Potentially, a lot of things have to start going wrong for this to get really down to that level. So be mindful of that. Be careful with that, even when you're those out of the money puts. Long SPYS. What is that the inverse of SP short? SPYS. Not showing up, my friend. Bob, FRO is nearly resistance at the $8. What are your thoughts? Great question. FRO. Yeah, see, I can see what you're talking about. Yeah, it looks like it's just kind of like, this is a very choppy market. Frontline, what is this? I'm not sure what this company does, but looking at this, potentially looking at very choppy here. Again, heading is a lot of resistance here at the 200 exponential moving average with the last 2 or 3 months. So the $9 limit right here is going to be very critical to try to break out. but kind of with the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, potentially going lower. We could see a potential short-term bottom around the 720 level, lack of a better words. But we kind of see this really strange pattern of literally, I don't like to use the word, but I want to use it, the kangaroo market, where it's just bouncing a roller coaster, lack of a better words, of just going up and down. But the overall trend is just kind of just trading sideways potentially. Being mindful, there's no earnings or anything on the horizon unless a shoe drops or something bad happens that we could see it potentially going lower. I think a nibbling position or a starter position would be not too bad at this location if I bought into around, again, the 750 to 780 level for a potential try to test the 21 around $8.42. Save. Russell says save. Is that Spirit Airlines? Yeah, I called it. Again, like we kind of just discussed about the overall looking at the cruise lines, the airlines are literally in the same projection on the sense of they're all kind of in the same boat, they're in the same craft, where they are experiencing the overall virus, a key component of people not wanting to travel or go anywhere. Are the airplanes business going to go completely under? No, I don't think so, unless something crazy happens where the airplanes caused the overall virus, which that's going to be a Onion News headline for sure there. I just imagine the headline reading, airplanes, virus, death. Anyways, sorry. Kind of distracted there. So with Spirit or Save ticker, looking again, that 200-day exponential moving average is really high up there, looking for a potential break above this. Again, airline sector is so heavy with a lot of people buying into these really beaten up stocks. I think this is going to take a little bit longer to recover. I'm not going to say what Warren Buffett says. I don't know the complete fundamental breakthrough, a fundamental analysis of these companies. But again, the 21 looks like a potential resistance. I like the 34 a little bit better, around 1350. If it comes down to that level, potentially another starter position or nibbling there. Kang Gang, I don't know what futures. Thank you. You're welcome, Oscar. Your thoughts on TWO? Is that Take Two? What is that? TWO. Two Harbors Invested. Is this the one you come up with, right? This is like another mortgage one or something. Looking, again, it's very tightly squeezed here. Potentially, it's closed above the 21. Yeah. But the parabolic SAR kind of has switched to the top. So be very mindful between the 21 and 34 here. It could be trading sideways. But we've started seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, potentially further downside. Again, so this thing has just been super tightly wound here, kind of slowly kind of wrapped itself around the 21 exponential moving average, so potentially can just be trading a very slight sideways to maybe going slightly higher. I'm not seeing a huge, unless this company does something that comes out with a vaccine, I can't see this company breaking above the 200-day anytime soon. B says home. What's home? Home. At Home Group. Okay. Not sure what they do, but looks pretty interesting. So, looking at this chart right away, even pre-virus, we are seeing an overall downturn, just kind of trading sideways and lower. And of course, when everything hit, it really went really low at $1, and now it's traded sideways, and now it's starting to come back. Being very mindful, it's starting to break above its 200-day on the daily. Let's look at the weekly side. Yeah, it looks like it's been really beaten up the last years, being very beaten down. So be very mindful of that. If it has breaking above the 21 here on the weekly side, it's kindly just kind of traded sideways and traded lower. Even though with earnings coming on the horizon, I can't be the most positive about this because, again, I don't know fundamentally what the company does. Just be very mindful with earnings on the horizon. it hasn't looked like it has done very well on earnings before. So these are huge red candles down on earnings. So unless you're going short this, be very careful. Initially looking like on the daily side, the 200-day could be a very tight area to trade around. IVR, please. Yes. Oops, if I can type in this. Oh, this is the mortgage one. This is one that constantly comes up. So again, I kind of have my price target here. It starts breaking below the 380 level. That's going to be further downside. I think this is one I think this is one Ryan brought up the other day too on the last live stream, on the sense of what could be going wrong here. Starts breaking, the parabolic SARs are still on below the tickers, which is great, but once it starts switching, again, just let's see how the market opens up Monday, Tuesday. If the market opens up down on Monday, we could get a reversal Tuesday, or basically the opposite of what Monday happens because people start coming in. Looking at, again, just to kind of give you some SPY here. So normally after a huge drop, so 1, 2, Monday would be 3, and the fourth or fifth day is when buyers are coming in, the value investors. The value investors are right down here around the 50-day and the 200 exponential moving average. So these guys are down here kind of waiting with their pocketbooks and just waiting to buy the market if it gets down to this level. So this is where the 50-day and the 200-day are basically called the value investor signs. Oh, they're not sailing until November now, Wesley. I didn't know that. Search in Life says, what do you think about Bank of America? Could banks pick up next week? Depending, again, not all banks are made equal. With the overall banking sector, we can look at Bank of America. Then I can kind of look at the overall ETF for banks, kind of hitting that 200-day against a lot of companies have had, and just kind of start trading lower, potentially breaking below here. The 34 has come in here for a lot of support here on the daily side, which is great. The momentum has kind of shrugged off again due to that overall selling of a lot of these stocks. Nothing too concerning yet, since the 5 and 8 haven't crossed through the 21. If it starts crossing through the 21, we have to look at the 50-day, potentially the 23, or even lower to like the 2250 level. If the 5 and 8 start crossing through, this could be potentially just kind of catching its breath, fixing up from the beating it has, maybe get some Band-Aids, take some Advil, regain its strength, and potentially try to push up to the 27 level again. What does MMA in past down by SPY? What are two great news pieces Thursday, Friday, but SPY didn't pump much, just a few percent. Again, I wouldn't tie what I do, the technical side, to the news. Price is king. So price is always the dictation of what people are thinking. The news can do whatever. The news is reacting to the market. So the market's going to move faster than the news can come out. So just be mindful of that. That's kind of the what I subscribe to there. AMD, which we own that. Again, AMD really just been trading sideways, and I really want it to break out as much as a little bit of hair that I have left of just like, come on, like just please just break out for Papa. It's really just in a very tightly wound rubber band. Potentially it had a really small showing here when it popped to like nearly $60 here. Again, we're looking for that potentially to break the $60 level and to get to all-time highs. We've kind of seen a 1, 2, 3 triple top. It's kind of just tested the water, kind of dipped its toes in, kind of to see if the water's nice, maybe went back in, worked out a little bit more to get in the pool. But that being said, it's time for it to start breaking out. Again, you kind of see my trading range here. 60, I want it to break to 60. But if it starts getting below the 51 to 50 level, I have to start looking at potentially rolling those options or getting out. Oh yeah, makeshift player. You got some hate for Nikola as well. Yeah, it's going to be people who, if you start asking them questions on how they're going to roll out certain things, people just kind of put it all together, just like a wishy-washy mentality. Oh wow, okay, this chat just went through the roof. Sorry, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I just lost all the chat here. 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry. They're kind of going through here. Yeah, Ryan, the news media is very misleading for sure, because everyone has their own agenda, for sure. Let's see here. Okay, I'm sorry. It looks like it just keeps on pulling me to the bottom of the chat window. Looks like, let's see here. mRNA is done already. By done, what do you mean? The market's already priced in what's going on. GNUS, Jacob. I've never heard of that. What is that? GUNS. Is that? Oh, GNUS. Sorry, I was thinking of guns. Okay. Don't know what this is. This looks like, again, a pink sheet stock, and I just kind of went skyrocketing. Nothing really to add here. Kind of looking, if it starts breaking below 21, it could be going lower, but this is clearly a highly momentum FOMO trade, because you can literally see 3 days of volume that is 10x times any other day, and of course spikes, and then kind of just trading lower there. Makeshift player, have you ever traded Forex? No, I haven't. It's something, again, it just gets confusing, because I'm like, okay, it's the pound to the dollar, and then it's the Aussie dollar to the dollar, and it just kind of, I can't put a company picture to it and a story to it, and so it doesn't work in my brain very well. Looking at the charts directly, I maybe could, but that wouldn't be the fun, interesting part, because the thing I like about the company is to try to learn about it, explore my mind. I really don't want to watch a bunch of political and read bank statements for Forex. Any YOLO this week? No YOLO plays this week. We're going to look at probably potential, looking at some really high trading activity, especially in SPY. We'll see if more people start adding puts and so forth. Vincent calls on HTZ. I can't tell. If it was my money, I wouldn't touch Hertz with a 10-foot pole. Actually, with a 25-foot pole. The company, in theory, is going bankrupt, and they're trying to raise more money for somewhat odd reason. I just don't understand it. If I don't understand it, I'm not going to even touch it. I've never heard of a bankrupt company that filed for bankruptcy trying to create more shares. That just right there, it just doesn't compute in my 2-gear brain. My gears in my brain are spinning, and they're just getting locked up. I just don't understand that. William, next comment, I don't trust him. I don't trust it either, yeah. Are you still in Costco? Current thoughts, David D. Thank you. I think we are still in Costco. Yes, I think we are, yes. So Costco did kind of sell off. The squeeze is still intact. We're kind of looking for the 200-day exponential moving average to kind of hold it. Again, I think we sold puts in this around the 195 or 190 level. I mean, sorry, 295 to 290 level. So we're going to be okay unless things getting really sour. I do not like actually looking at this at a further longer time frame. It's really been holding the 21. That 50-day can kind of come into some saving grace here, lack of a better words. We're really counting on that to kind of hold us there as well, for potential just kind of trading in around this level. Potentially, if it does come even lower to the 55 exponential moving average on the weekly side. It could tick down to that. I don't know if it's going to close around that level, but the overall trend is still kind of sideways, potentially slightly lower. In the immediate term, in the very, very short term, it looks really kind of nasty with the 5 and 8 kind of crossing through the 21. So it's something that I wouldn't like to expand and get more into unless I start seeing some stopping of the downward resistance in a couple days of just kind of trading sideways. Like you kind of seen here where things kind of traded sideways and kind of came down. We did see some jolting up and down, but the moving averages stopped pointing down to the ground. Troy, any plays for me this week? Not really. Again, it's going to be highly. I'm playing Kroger potentially for a run into earnings, my friend. I'm potentially going to be looking for some buying opportunities coming this week. Potentially adding more AMD. I do like Now. We added that last week on a very, very sharp spike down. It actually, I lucky had the order in to purchase it. It literally broke the 21. The 375 I had the order in. We bought some of those stock for a nice kick higher again. It went up, literally crashed down that one day with the overall market, and it kind of bounced back for potential trading around the 385 level from that point on. Again, but this thing has really been trading the 21 exponential moving average quite well. So this is what I'm keeping my mindset on, and those parameters, potentially even getting out to the 34. Since it's a stock price and not an option, I'm a little bit more loosey-goosey on it than just trying to get out of it really fast. Sell the bottom, Warren Buffett 2020, right? Warren Buffett, I was reading an article, if you guys haven't read it, it's really interesting, about how he, during the last financial crisis of 08, 07, 08, 08, 09, whatever you want to call it, whenever you think it started, that he gave, I think it was a loan of like $350 or $300 million to Harley Davidson, the HOG ticker. And if he would have just bought the same amount in stock, he would have been up like 3 or 4 times that particular ticker. Because this thing, I don't know, what's people not buying motorcycles anymore? Is this not a cool thing? I don't know. It doesn't really speak to me on a motorcycle, but the overall trend has been lower. And even with this issue that happened, like, it could at most can get back up to 34 and then potentially trading lower unless they start coming out of like, hey, actually riding a motorcycle doesn't make you catch the virus, and then people would buy the bike. But there's not much potential there. So you're looking for maybe $8 or $9 potentially higher here, but the overall trend is still lower in HOG, so I wouldn't want to even touch this. Roberts wouldn't touch the HTC with a 10-foot pole. Ryan, of course, is buying SPY calls. Of course, playing that contrarian bet. I love it. I would rather lose money on oil tankers. That's I got a lot of flack for my shorts on that. All HTC's efforts sold their shares. Is that for sure? You should look at NBRV. They had a huge run up before they announced FDA approval that was canceled because something not related to the drug was wrong. NBVR. What is NBV? Is it NB? Well, sorry, RV. Sorry. This is. Man, I can't touch this. It's too cheap, man. It's too cheap. I'm sorry. Even though if they had a miracle drug, God bless them, but I won't be able to really touch this or trade this due to the fact of just the current price it's at. I can't buy something that's below $2 or $3. I'm sorry, just due to some rules and regulations in my brain. Kelly D, thoughts on LOW? Is that Lowe's? Or Lowe's is L, right? It is Lowe's Corp's. Lowe's, whoa, this is fantastic looking, actually. It's really holding that 21 quite beautifully. With the 5 and 8 still going slightly south, not as steep as other ones. Again, that 21's really pretty there. Excuse me, take another drink of water. Potentially seeing the 5 can cross through the 8. That's nothing too alarming. But you start seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21. That 34 is going to come in around the 118 level for support. Again, this was literally looking at all-time highs just about a week and a half ago. Again, due to everyone going out with the virus being canceled, going out, buying their potted plants, getting those heirloom tomatoes planted in their ground, getting those beautiful flowers in their garden spiced up on their balcony, whatever. So once people start coming over to see their house again and visit and hang out, you're going to have that fantastic, beautiful landscape garden, balcony, or deck on for sure. So that is definitely, with Lowe's and Home Depot, their biggest time of the year is that garden springtime. Uh, 3-8, 5-3-8. Yeah, they're going in July for their phase 3 already. Oh wow, they just finished. I think they just finished phase 1. How they? Again, I don't follow it. You sound like you follow it much more deeply than I have. They're doing an announcement on Friday. Who said that? Oh, the NBVR. Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be difficult for that. There, Jason. That it's gonna be very too risky for me to be able to play that. What about Fit? Google will buy it for $3 currently. Yeah, so Fitbit, like Fitbit, and what's the other company? The jewelry company that I always hear people talk about. Tiffany Co. Again, it's honestly, I might buy some of this tomorrow just to see, because it's hitting the 200-day. If Google's still going to buy it, if that's still in the works, we'll see what happens. It's really holding that 200-day quite well, and I'm going to be that contrarian bet. Who said that? Oh, Ryan, thanks for the $4, man. Appreciate it. Who was it? Trace? They're saying it's $7. Yeah, it's... So initially you can tell what they're going to pay for it once it spikes up, that opening gap. So I was going to say it's like $7.25, so buy at $7.35. Potentially, yeah. I might add this. I added it to my long maybe buy list there. So thank you for that recommendation. Josh Daniel, what is your opinion on selling puts on UVXY? Dangerous. Be careful with that. Very dangerous. Not just selling puts, dangerous, but I mean, like, especially on something that's very volatile like that, you can do it, just be very small size, because that's what happened in. Let's go back here, do a little history lesson. In what was it? Yeah, it was right around. Do I have that even available? No, I don't. The SPY of February of 2019, or sorry, was it 2019? I think it was 2019, where we had that huge run up of, I think it was 18 actually, huge run up there, and then we just had a huge sell off due to the fact of so many people of these huge funds breaking up, and the potential of people just buying puts because they thought this overall upward market is going to discontinue to go, and that the puts are complete, or they can just sell those puts within the VIX or whatever, some volatility index, and that can just continue not to go any higher. So be very mindful of that. Be careful with that. I don't usually like to play with those ETFs and things like that. Let's see here. Sorry, these things are really flying. Okay. Alan S. Wow, thanks you, man. $5. When KR has been sold, was thinking it was more because people, margin accounts getting called, got a few more contracts as it fell. Exciting week for me. Nice. Josh McDonald, thank you for the buck. Alan. So KR is one position I think added last week. It was actually one of the live streams. I just looked at the chart and I just went to my Tastyworks account and I purchased some options. Again, looking for the run up into earnings. Potentially, if the earnings come out, we could get rid of them or roll them further dated as well for potential more upside. Because again, the grocery store business it's very competitive. So this I could see kind of some issues indicating there, but I think. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'll be very 100% clear on that. Do not take it. This is my opinion. I think it just could be continually just trading sideways, honestly. So that's what I'm kind of playing on. Elliot VEEV. What is that? Sorry, the chat is really just flying. I'm sorry if I missed anything. You might have to retype it. I don't know what this does, but this looks great. This is a very perfect chart, and lack of perfect chart ways of it really holding the 21. And again, just had a high 2 or 3 days ago, potentially at 227. If it continues holding the yellow line, we're just going to draw a little make-believe line there for you to kind of potentially indicate it out. We're going to give it a slope at about 15.36 potential with the overall market, just trading sideways and slightly going up. Because again, there's nothing really on its radar that could bring it down unless something just really terrible happens. What is your opinion on NVAX, William? NVAX. Wait. We say NVAX. Okay. Novavax. Okay, looks like this is probably, again, some kind of drug company looking at a huge pop off here. Really holding the 21 here, kind of creating almost like a, I don't like to give it names, but like a wedge pattern here. So you can kind of look at here, and then even here, kind of just creating in a very tightly nose cone kind of way, and potentially with the squeeze indicating down here, and the overall just RSI hasn't done anything. Volume also hasn't done anything because the volume hasn't really kicked in here yet. With earnings really popping off, this could be a potential break higher or lower depending on once it starts breaking below the 21, which is around the 43.25 level, or if it starts breaking above, which is around the 46 level. So this is going to be very heavily tied to the overall movement of this stock. Again, looks like it's definitely going to be very heavily earnings driven or some kind of news driven, because you can kind of see a huge run up here even into earnings, and again with earnings popping off really very strong there. So just be very mindful of that. This looks to be a very fast mover. Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft. Wow, you just went all through them. Intel we have there as well. CMG, everyone give him a like. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it again for the $4. Tesla. Let's look at some let's look at Apple. Actually, I want to look at Apple with you. All right, so Apple, of course, is the crown jewel of the overall market. It's basically the captain. It's the main follow Apple lead, and again with the sense of being a huge component in many ETFs, and kind of just being an outlier, again, like an Amazon, it's able to kind of weather the storm much better than other companies. That being said, you can kind of see here on the chart on the daily side, the 5 and 8 has been very kind to Apple, with it really hasn't been closing below that. That being said, anything can happen. If it does start going lower, that 21 is going to have to come in for support. It has slightly come in here once, basically twice here, for a further downside. Again, that's going to be around the 325 level. That being said, the 5 and 8 are just kind of trading sideways, so potentially could just be continue just trading sideways. So be mindful of that. Daniel, Intel. So this is kind of look similar to AMD, but with AMD, this is going to be really strong support if it gets down to the 57 level for the 200-day exponential moving average. Kind of have it at the 56 level because, again, that's kind of where the other lines, the previous lows have kind of petered out as. Again, that's going to be a potential bottom. But the thing here is the volume oscillator down here is kind of broken negative. So this is I want to say a new downtrend. But comparing this to AMD, the 5 and 8 have clearly, it's looking like it's going to cross through it, and it's very sharp, at a very sharp angle, going lower. So if you kind of flip back to AMD, you kind of see them, they're still slightly above the 21. So that's kind of comparing it, but so AMD is slightly performing better in the sense of it hasn't got that drastic downturn as well. Howard, CMG, we'll look at some CMG, kind of craving some CMG. Again, this did very well during the pandemic and everyone being locked down. Literally was selling more burritos than it ever has before, making literally a V-shape bottom, lack of a better words, really riding up the 21. Kind of seeing here the 34 is really going to be its support line here. The 34 exponential moving average. We do see the 5 and 8 start curling down. They haven't crossed through the 21 yet, so it's nothing indicating that it could potentially going lower. But again, that 34 is going to be very interesting to see for a potential hold, and again for potential upside to kind of break above the 1053 level if it wants to try to get higher again, to try to break to all-time highs, that 1087 level there, my friend. Rock says Monday green or red. I don't know, my friend. I can't. I just kind of have to wait for what happens here. Oh shoot, my darn chat just scrolled all the way up. Let's see here. I've seen Tesla. Oh, Tesla. That's what we wanted to do. I'm sorry. Do Tesla. Because we're still waiting on that battery day in Tesla. That battery day is super crucial in the sense of what is going to make Tesla the overall fantastic, even more fantastic, lack of better words, company that's really just trying to change the world. Like it, hate it, whatever, they are really trying to better and make EV cars awesome. If you've never driven in one, they're really flipping fast, and they're actually a lot of fun to drive with, packed with technology. Love them. That being said, looking at the chart, very key points we're coming into. So it literally just kind of tickled the top of this purple parabolic SAR dot. That could be an indication of a trend change if it starts breaking below that purple dot. The 5 and 8 are still kind of just trading sideways. It's not near its 21. As you can see, the 21 has kind of come in multiple times. 1, 2, I want to call this 3 here, for some ongoing support to kind of give it some love, and kind of give it that resistance to kind of break lower. With the, again, a lot of people waiting on battery day, it finally broke above that $1,000 price target. I think it's somewhat normal for it kind of to get some of those weak hands out, get those people who just wanted to get that $1,000 price target and kind of sell off, people kind of repositioning, potentially coming down to the 21, which is around 880, kind of getting more people to buy in and potentially push higher. The overall momentum is still kind of going slightly lower, but again, that was due to the overall market sell-off for the past 2 days of last week, being very strong support around the 880 level. I know that is $50 where it is, but again, we're talking about Tesla. That thing moves really substantial in the markets. Once it kind of can regain its strength and kind of trade sideways, potentially holding the 21 or the 34, you kind of see I have the 817 price target for myself, being again very on my conservative side. I really like to get the price that I really want. I could be hard-headed sometimes and kind of move that price target up a little bit. But again, the 21 is going to be level 1 of support. I usually like to buy around level 2 or 3. So level 2 is going to be around the 34, and level 3 is going to be around the 767 level for the 50-day exponential moving average for Tesla. So that covers Tesla. Oh, wow. I've been talking for an hour. I only have to take a couple sips of water. Diego, I have some Tesla calls weekly, 1040s. What do you think I should sell out on Monday? If you hit the certain threshold of what you're willing to lose, yes. Again, I hope that you had a game plan when you bought those calls for Tesla of if it breaks this level, I get out. If I make this level for profit, I get out. Like, it sounds silly to do that, but it's one of the best things to do. It takes the emotion out of it. Like, let's say if I got in a Tesla at $950 and I say, oh, if it breaks $1,000, no matter if it's in 3 hours or it's in tomorrow, again, this is if you're thinking that, you're thinking of a trade, so the trade's going to be very much short term. So if it makes $50 in a day, you're out. And if you lose $20 or $30, or if it starts breaking below your price target of getting in, or maybe 5% of what you're willing to lose, you get out. Whatever your strategy is, or what you feel comfortable with, honestly, be mindful of that. Dang, coolest dad ever. AYTU. Never heard of that. That sounds AYTU. Okay, if I could type here. AYTU. Yeah, this looks like something that just went out like a bioscience company. Yeah, it's going to be very much earnings or news driven. And it looks like it's just trading sideways, sitting on its hand, waiting for something to explode or something to come out to save the world. Looks like I'm not a betting man in that sense. The chart is just telling me that it's just trading sideways, waiting for something to come out. Nothing to really add there. I'm sorry, my friend. Best dad ever. LKYT calls. I think that's AT&T. 619.32 for $9. Let's see. I haven't looked at AT&T. Used to own them for dividends back in the day. 32. I could. What do you say? 619. That's like in a week, right? It's a very short time period. What are they saying on? The overall market move is $1.50, so you're really betting that it's going to be going higher than what the market makers are saying. So be mindful of that. So you're saying that they're only saying that the market's going to move $1.50 for that chart. So $1.50 where it's at right now is put it exactly at 32. You're saying 32.50. Again, apples and bananas, but that market maker move is going to be that higher percentile of the 68 percentile move. Yes, I know volatility has been up, and that 50% could give you that cushion to go higher. Just be very mindful. Maybe give yourself extra time. That is a kind of further outed potential options call that could kind of go sour due to the fact of the 5 and 8 have been pretty steeply lower. We're trading below the 21. The 34.50 kind of have come in for support here. Again, with the overall market, potentially could just be trading sideways for the next week or so, so that your 32 would be very far out. Kelly D. GLW. Interesting. I don't know what this does, but looks fairly strong, breaking above the 200-day exponential moving average. Looking for, again, support's going to be coming in around the 200-day, so 25.50. Potentially level 2 support's going to be coming around 24.50, and then really strong level 3, I'm going to kind of call it around 22.50 on the lower end. Let me do a quick fib here. I'll do that swing high to swing low. Boop. So interesting. Okay, I was going to say it's around the 50 percentile move. So it's around the 618. It's literally failed here almost to the tick here on the 618. So it really needs to kind of break above that to try to get above that 30 level there, my friend, Kelly D. Michael Scott, ATP. Wow. Okay. Not sure what they do here. Alpha Pro Tech. Something completely tied to some kind of news driven as well. Looking at the fact of just trading sideways, kind of showing some support around the 200-day exponential moving average, around the $8.67 level, but just been trading sideways. When the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, we could be seeing some upside, but again, I don't know what this company does and what the potential pros or cons of what industry they're in. Matson Dylan says SPY puts ? No, I wouldn't. If you're not in the SPY puts coming Monday, if you didn't buy them Friday, it's going to be very hard. I'm not usually if it gaps down like this to try to buy SPY puts. It's going to be very difficult because they're going to have a very high premium on those put sides, and especially with options, you kind of want to be on the opposite side. So if the stock is up, I don't know, let me give it a lack of better words, like when we shorted the Axon, is it AX? I got out. I don't have my thinker, my other account open. Is it AOXSN? Oh shoot! Hold on. Gotta go through all my sections here. AAXN. Okay, there we go. So the reason I shorted this, again, just like I did with the one I kind of made a video about that kind of got a lot of flack for, was the airline, the tanker stock NAT. It had a huge movement of this astronomical amount of volume. Again, NAT had more volume than this company is, without a doubt. But those call options were such a high premium, so I just took the complete. I sold those calls. So those calls, like the $100 call option, was very nice, and it kind of hurt me sideways. But I kind of got out majority of it, I believe. I think I did. I have to look on the Tastyworks. I think I did, because this whole tick down kind of got lower. Potentially, I was looking for getting around to the 88 level to get out. I just didn't want to deal with it because, again, the particular riots were just kind of going higher, and I didn't want to be really holding that anymore because it was kind of a little bit stressful for me. Certain number in my head before I sold. Kangaroo for sure. What is your opinion on Tesla? Kind of just did that, my friend. Yeah, AAXN kind of did that. Roberts, I believe. Again, I have to look on Tastyworks. Let me see if I got out. I might have just got out for a super small profit. Scrolling through my Tastyworks trading right now. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. So I sold it for. I did a credit spread, so I sold it for nearly $5, and I got out for like a 10% gain. So nothing too crazy, because again, I was thinking about rolling it further months out. I think, was it you, Roberts, who had the September or November options for those? I had it like 30 days out, because I did that really fast off the bat, potentially thinking that the riots won't last that long, and this is kind of trading sideways and just go away. Really hasn't. So yeah, it's been kind of a little painful there. Let's see. Oh shoot! My darn thing just messed up again. I hate that. YouTube needs to fix their chat window. I need to they need to give me a tool where I can highlight the chat and just go one by one. AMD is killing Intel in the real world. Yes, Ryan, I believe so as well. Nikola stock, K Thunder, Nikola stock, and the warrant, it would be a stock half. I don't understand that. Ryan, BA stock, K Thunder, we kind of did that, looking for potentially just trading sideways and waiting for some news to break out, looking for if it does crash or coming down, looking around the 175 level. What do you think about Sony and the new PlayStation 5, Wesley? I think it's great. I don't know what the ticker symbol for Sony is, but again, Sony is such a huge company. I'm not sure what exactly PlayStation does for them. We can look at BA again. A lot of people are coming out with that. New with China, Tesla, we kind of did that, Diego. Space for Johnny Bravo. Yes, we can do look at space. Let's look at that because we just speculative play. We own some very long dated calls in this. Really kind of hovering around the limit where I don't want to see it. Again, that 200-day exponential moving average is going to be kind of like my, lack of a better word, support line. Kind of just trading sideways, honestly. Kind of sitting on its hand, waiting for the next big news to come out, for a potential great study or great flights to come out and so forth. It's going to be very just trading sideways, potentially even lower. Just really just sitting on my hands with this one to see what happens. Because again, I'm not able to own anything like SpaceX or anything like that, or this is going to be the next biggest thing for me to kind of get some speculative plays into the overall space industry. BA stock, please. Yeah, we do BA for you there. So what we talked about BA, again, it was up substantially the other day. The 21, which is going to be around the 170 level, is going to be support on the way down. Potentially trading sideways with the 5 and 8 exponential moving average. If it has enough steam or potential rocket fuel, lack of better words, to go higher, to break above its short-term high and the 200-day. The 200-day is really going to be its key metric to kind of break out. Since the parabolic SR has slightly switched to the top, we're looking for a kind of a break of that short-term high. Again, with the 5 and 8 trading sideways, things are kind of just trading sideways here with the momentum kind of slowing down. This needs the next push higher with that steam. So hopefully that helps you there. K Thunder. Where did you learn to read indicators? Did you teach yourself online? Josh Daniel, where did I learn indicators? So a lot of books. I did initially some coursework in the sense of like I should do a video just on that. I don't want to mention names or anything, but a lot of live and learn kind of scenarios. Again, I've been trading for many years, not successfully initially for the first couple of years. Maybe the first 6 years were really rough, and because I was just dipping my feet into so many different things, from day trading to just trading penny stocks to doing this and that, and it was just a very whirlwind of things that just taking all the things that I've learned, the books I read, videos I watched, and things like that, has just really kind of helped me put together my style of things. And then on top of some of the indicators that I've seen the professionals use, you kind of see the TTM squeeze is a thing you don't see a lot. So the folks at Simpler Trading, or John Carter, really created this particular indicator, and it really helped me better understand that. If you just Google or YouTube TTM squeeze John Carter, there's some really great videos to kind of give you a much better explanation than I ever could. Kelly D King. Oh yes, we can look at DraftKings. That one's kind of been just like a little bit of blah, right? Yeah. So again, that 21's really going to come in. We really need to see things pick up. We are seeing, again, in the United States, people are saying that sports are going to start coming back online. This is, of course, going to be helping DraftKings here. I kind of want to see this. I hate to say I don't want to wish anything lower, but I kind of want to see this around the 35 level because I would like to pick it up, honestly. Again, you kind of see my 35 or 30 level where I really want to pick it up, and nice kick higher to potentially at the 45 level. So being very mindful of that. Let's see, Roku. So Roku is actually one we also did kind of get out of. We unwinded it for a profit. We sold some calls in that. We just kind of saw that once the move switched K Thunder from the basically being stuck at home, the work from home stocks and things like that. You just saw a lot of switch out. I think this could potentially go higher again in the near future. Again, with the 200-day exponential moving average right here, but you have the 21, 8, and 5, and the 50-day trying to cross through the 21, through the 200 here, potentially breaking out. It's going to be one that's going to be had to keep it on a very short leash. The 5 and 8 really need to start printing higher and cutting through the 21 with some strength, and not kind of just piddle foot around it. It really needs to kind of make a steep angle and cut through it, and rather just kind of just tippy toe around it for some really aggressive momentum swings higher. But again, key level to break out is around the 112 to 113 level. Support on the way down on the short leash would be basically, lack of better words, 100, or actually to 95, 96, because we had that initial gap up there, and we might need to fill that before we can go any ways higher. SQ, yeah, we can do SQ. SQ is great. We own PayPal actually though, but we like Square too. We like those markets. Yeah, I think you know my answer on this one, Dylan. That the 21 has been it's really good friend. Bouncing here once, twice, 3, and then 4 today on Friday. Looking at the parabolic SAR as there as well. We do see a slightly just trading sideways, but again, the 5 and 8 are nothing too drastic to look at. These are just the very high, fastly driven momentum stocks, and momentum mover indicators. So if they're just closing below that, nothing too crazy to go crazy about or just get out in your position. When you start seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, the 34 is going to come in. So you kind of see my price target here at $77. Potentially if it gets down to this level, would be very attractive and kind of great indication for me. We're just seeing it kind of just trading sideways with the overall market. Again, I think they make a very superior product and they just do really great things over there for sure. Again, it also just hit an all-time high that week. That could be just people just getting out of it to sell some profit there. Oh, you got into Macy's? Ooh, what's Macy's? Just letter M, right? You gotta sign that, eh? Yeah, those things, ugh. I think a lot of people did you get into that because you were potentially playing the other folks that were just seeing a potential bounce back in the overall retail market? I think this could, the 5 and 8 haven't crossed through the 21 yet, and the 21, it slows above the 21, so it potentially could be trading sideways for the next couple days. But again, with the overall market, it could go pretty nasty if the overall market tomorrow opens up severely down. So be very mindful of that. NVIDIA. Oh, what was this sent me? Alan, when you say I might roll over your options to a later date, what does that mean? What is that? Any book to read to help understand your charts? So what does that mean? Lack of a better words. Let me see. Let's see here. How do I do that? How do I explain that? So I don't know. So this is the reason why, Alan, I love the Tastyworks trading platform because they make it so simple. So let me give you here. I'm just going to show you. This is one of my accounts for my short-term options trading. You can kind of see what the positions that I have here and what I'm losing in. But again, these are options, so you're not going to be able to see these complete price targets really relative here. So for example, if I wanted to get rid of my NVIDIA, you see that I have a price target out. I'm just selling some puts here. These are just very generic here, Alan. So if I wanted to roll it, so what rolling it means is I wanted to give myself time. I wanted to extend it. So I would click on it like this, and I would right click it, and then I can roll expiration. You always want to kind of get the roll for a credit, not a debit. You don't want to pay more. So if I add a credit to it, it kind of creates the order. It gives you, again, the max loss, what is the buying power going to be affected by, and you can review and send it, and it's literally it's still going to be creating it's basically, instead of you, with Tastyworks, is you don't have to pay for closing an order, but you have to pay for creating an order. So that being said, if I create the order, this is a new order, I'm just basically getting out of the 33 days out. I'm going to add to the 125 days. I'm still buying the same put prices here. I could just close this and reopen one, but with Tastyworks, they just can make it, simplify it, and just make it a very well swooped, and just do it really quick. So I can do a quick roll. I can roll the expirations to a certain different dates. I can do strike prices up and down. It just makes it super simple. They have this wonderful target that I always have in place. I always put on my things of just automatically close at a 50% profit, and I can kind of move it up and down from there. So hopefully that was somewhat informative for you, Alan. So I'm not sure exactly what platform you're using. Again, that was just an example of one of my Tastyworks accounts that I use for my portfolio there. So hopefully that was informative and really answered your question. Again, thank you for the $5, my friend. And then, what do you need? Any books to read to help with reading and setting up charts? It's going to be a lot of, again, for me, I'm more of a visual learner, so it's going to be a lot of just YouTube videos and just scanning the internet to find out what, if you're new into trading, it's going to be best to figure out what you like to see in the market. Like I said, it took me multiple years to become profitable in trading. I lost money those 6 or 7 years a lot. And I just had to find out what worked for me, what was, I wouldn't say my calling, but what mindset I had to be in to trade. I clearly am not a day trader. I'm clearly not a Forex trader. I'm clearly not this and that. What I like and what I'm attracted to is certain, I like the equities. I like companies. I like to do longer dated bets and things like that. So this is kind of have to find your mojo in that, lack of better words, and what your personality fits within that trading style. Again, people literally just trade with a 200-day and a 50-day moving average on it, and maybe a couple other small indicators on it. That's totally fine. But if that works for you, that's great. It's whatever is best for you. And hopefully that was helpful for you there, my friend. Let's see. Okay, thank you for that, my friend. Okay, it looks like a lot more comments are coming. I appreciate it, guys, really much. I really do. Let's see here. Wonderful YouTube chat just pulled me all the way down again. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Chase. Did a very good explanation, much better than I could. Yeah, rolling it. I think I should be very clear with my terminology. I apologize. Young Trader 05. We just did DraftKings looking for that $34 to $32 level to hold. If it starts selling off, for a potential kick higher to the $45 level for a potential of what we saw once the sports start going out and people start getting out of the market and taking kind of being beaten over the head with market selling off the last 2 or 3 days, potentially seeing what happens from there. Can you check Spotify? Yeah, well, I like Spotify. SPOT. So, again, I don't think did you buy this because of Joe Rogan moving to Spotify? Like, it's a great deal for him. I think he's really loving it, being able to. I think it's in September when everything goes off YouTube and everything, and goes strictly to Spotify. That being said, it's really been holding the 21 exponential moving average quite well here, kind of hitting the 21 and bouncing in and around here. This is a very strange market for Spotify. That being said, the 21 is really going to be its biggest tell. I don't know if people are still buying this or got into it because of the news of Joe Rogan or the potential onslaught of what's happening in the space of podcasting and how Spotify is really trying to change and maybe take on the YouTube or the Facebook in the sense of creating content, in that sense of rather just sharing other people's content, of just really starting to go after and buy content that they can kind of monetize and make their platform more attractive. Because again, they want that data from you. Because again, they have a free version and a paid version of Spotify, correct? So the paid version, again, I have the family plan, I believe. It's like $13 or $15 a month, and I can listen to whatever I want with no ads. They have the free version where you can listen to ads, which they still want to give it away for free, which all the podcasts, I believe, are still. Even the Joe Rogan podcast will still be free, but they want that data. They want that data to kind of give you that really informative ad. So I think a lot of the times, I believe, I don't use the free version, but what I read was they want to have, they don't like people download the app or download the podcast and go on like an offline mode, because they can't really, they can track on when you did it, but they won't be able to see on how much you listen to it unless you log back in or get back on the internet connection to kind of see of. So if I'm listening it, just streaming it, just driving in my car, I have it streaming it from the satellites or the towers onto my phone, and they can track on what I've looked at the last 2 or 3 days and what I've been listening to using their AI show Ken different ads kind of thing. They could be like, oh, Ken's interested in a new grill. Let's give him some ads that are Home Depot related or things like that, so it can see a higher range of click through and allowing me to hit that banner ad if I was using the free version of Spotify. I kind of went on a really big rabbit hole on Spotify's business model. I apologize. I just find it super interesting on something that's really trying to change on how they do things. So it's very, 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 very cool. Is there more? Dave E. I'm not sure what you mean by the warrant. I'm not too familiar with that, to be quite honest, like that. The coolest data ever. We did GNUS, right? I thought we did that already. ERX long calls. Let's see that. I never heard of that one. Ugh, what is that? Oh, it's an energy shares. Okay. Don't no more like to touch these, my friend. Yeah, you can't touch those. Sorry. Sorry, can't. It looks like it's too wound up. Like things. I understand that it's a 2x indication of energy market. I'd rather just buy the straight energy section, my friend. Let's see here. Okay, the chat's moving really fast here, boys. All right, let's see here. We'll do a couple more. We're gonna it's getting late here. Snap. We can do Snap. S&P. Looks like a couple people did that. We'll look at Snappy Snap. Wow, Snap is performing very much better than I thought. So the 21 is really the key level here. Is again the 21 and 34, kind of hitting here, kind of hitting here. Even his last earnings has been performing very well, even though that Instagram and Facebook constantly just copy them. It's very much just very well executed here, but it's hitting here on the weekly level. Potentially some very key indications here. We're hitting its all-time high was the 2136 here in the weekly. This is 3-year chart here. It's hitting some overhead resistance here, and we kind of seen the downturn from there. Again, I'm not too connected to what Snap is into. That being said, be very mindful that we could be just kind of trading sideways here. Again, it's still between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average, and then just kind of trading sideways. Parabolic SAR is still below it. It has not got near the 21 yet, so that's a good sign. But if it starts coming down to the 19 level and the 5/8 starts crossing through it, which it really hasn't the last 2 or 3 months, we could be potential further downside here. Because again, earnings was great here, but again, I kind of do this thought experiment. If the overall economy needs to revitalize and those airline companies need to advertise, those hotel companies need to advertise, the restaurants need to advertise, they're going to be needing to go to the Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and all those guys. So that being said, we can look at that. Trevor H, hello, 100% check mark. Thank you for the live stream, Dyslexic. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I really appreciate you for coming out. I really do. I really do that. A-Town pre-market looks bad. Yeah, we can look at it again. It actually looks better than when we started out, actually. It actually looked worse. Because, again, I'm looking for it to hold potentially between the 200 and the 34 exponential moving average for kind of just trading sideways overnight. Again, when the flood opens up, the key level will be looking at, if you were willing to wake up with me around 4:30, 5 o'clock, we'll see some potentially more action. Again, that's when the Asia markets will be closing and the European markets are opening up. And that's going to be a huge influx of options buying. And another thing I want to be super mindful of, that expiration's coming up for monthlies. So expiration is coming up for monthlies. So we could see, if you're not familiar with it, it's something that's called, what is it called? I can't think of the word right now. It's too late. What is it called? So they have to roll those options, and people have to get out of those options and roll for a slightly price variance. That being said, that could sometimes bring the market lower. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like Wednesday into Thursday is when I would like to start buying longer term stuff. That being said, that's going to be the overall the issue of potentially further downside. What is it? It's not called triple witching. What is that called? Something with I can't. Oh my god, I can't think of that word. It's an old option saying they used to say in the pit, when it's like that Wednesday when they have to start rolling the options to the next month. I can't think of that word. Shoot, darn it. I'm sorry, guys. Wasn't prepped for that one. So that's killing me. I can't think of that word. So, but anyway, so once that happens, that options need to roll into what's expiring. The monthly options need to roll into that are expiring this month. Need to roll into July. So those options are going to be moved, and usually when that huge shift happens, you kind of get a slight sell-off, and a lot of people kind of panic about it unless they don't know about it. It's not triple witching. Triple witching is something different. I think, I can't think of it, what it's called. It's not a witching. Triple witching is when they roll the futures for multiple different various things, multiple different things at once, of all the products. But it's some kind of witching thing. So we'll see. Again, we're going to do another live stream sometime this week. For sure, potentially. There's nothing crazy earnings coming out this week, so nothing to be too crazy about. Again, the only one that we're looking at is basically Kroger for earnings this week, so we have to be mindful of that. Again, we're going to be looking at the market, looking for some potential buys, some swing lows into getting into them, some really good stocks, and we'll be making some great videos this week on looking at some really interesting activities on some of the favorite stocks that we're looking at. And if you guys have any feedback, please let me know. You can join our fantastic Discord. You can support me as well on Patreon. That's also in the description below. We're going to be going for maybe a little bit longer than my eyes are just kind of getting tired here. Then I'm going to be going to sleep. He's got it. It's KOTY. KOTY. I think this kind of came up last week, right? No idea what they do. So again, it's above the 200. It's kind of just trading blah, so nothing too crazy. It looks like even before the overall outbreak, it just kind of been trading blah as well. Kind of give it a little bit longer time frame. Yeah, it's been trading lower even again before the overall outbreak, unless this kind of helps something. I kind of just see it. Really strong overhead resistance around the 655 here on the long-term indication. Again, the 5 and 8 needs to start crossing through the 21. It's above the 21 now, which is okay on the daily side, but I'm not sure. I don't have much to add to this chart. I'm sorry. Oh, it's a makeup brand. Oh, so I guess I can kind of see. I just don't know it. I don't. It didn't do very well, so I don't, even before the downturn, so hopefully you don't own a large position of this. But again, you can kind of really see here on the downturn, it's really had problems at the 89 here on the weekly side. Again, with the 21, it has broken above the 21 on the weekly side. Again, not sure on how brand loyalty this is or something like that. But that being said, we'll see. Then we can do Ryan is XRX. What do you got for me today, Ryan? XRX. What do you got? What do you got? Exxon. Xerox. What? What is... Okay. So... Are you short this, Ryan? This doesn't look sexy at all. You can literally see this huge, just kind of box here, lack of better words, of just trading sideways. Unless you're being very aggressive on just buying here, selling up here, and kind of trading sideways. Nothing really to report here besides that. So just be very mindful of that. It just looks like it's going to be Kangaroo market, like you said. Oh, it's Kylie Jenner stock? Oh. Well, it doesn't look great. Oh, you're doing it long term. I guess you can see it for that COTY. I don't know. I don't know anything about the makeup market, so on how loyal. I think people are pretty loyal to brands, so I think once the market can turn back, this could potentially going higher. But I don't. I got nothing to really add on that. It looked like you potentially could try to print higher, but again, be very mindful of it is still above the 21. 5 and 8 are somewhat nicely stacked, but if the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, there could be a potential downside to, again, the 425 to 428 level there. What got you into trading, Trevor H? Dyslexic. What did I got me to trading? That's a long story. I actually got into the overall stock market when I was in 6th or 7th grade. I had to do a paper about what I wanted to be, and I wanted to be one of those guys in the options pit yelling to sell my futures in whatever. I didn't even know what it was. I just was attracted to it, and I've been following the market pretty much since then. Not aggressively. My first stock I bought was Apple. I remember it was so old school. I had my dad I was able to call the broker in and say, hey, I want to buy Apple at, I think it was like at $60 at that point before it split. So yeah, we'll do at TLT. And of course, Nikola Tesla is spamming. Please, thank you for not spamming. We'll look at TLT, and then we'll look at IZEL. I heard you, my friend. Please don't spam. I don't like that. That's not cool. TLT, Alta, yeah. Let's see that. Let's see here. TLT. So TLT is basically bond looking at basically just if the equities go up, this goes down. If equities go down, this goes up. It's basically the inverse of the overall S&P 500. So initially we sold some calls into this, got out of it. Even though we thought it was going to get down to the 200-day exponential moving average, really didn't, got really close. Now it's kind of just trading, breaking above here. If the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21 here, this could be potentially going higher. But again, that 34 is falling as well. So the overall uphill support is going to be around the 167, potentially to 165 for some overhead resistance on the way up, moving there. So if it breaks above the 165 level and goes higher with a lot of momentum, and on top of the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21 for a potential higher momentum as well, that we could be seeing some great prices there. We'll do Nikola Tesla. He's the original IZEA. Please don't be a penny stock, because if it is, I'm going to be upset. Yes, it's a penny stock. What did I expect? Sorry, Nikola Tesla. I have no idea what this company does. It looks like it's completely news driven, with most of the very cheaper stocks are, because again, it looks completely flatlined until something gets triggered, aka some movement, earnings, or something like that, and just skyrockets. Potentially huge FOMO play here, could be coming down for support around the $1 level. I'm just giving you the generic look at here. I wouldn't want to touch this because again, it's a very small stock there, my friend. Dylan, Work. We can look at Work. So Work was one. I did a very small trade on this on the live stream. Looking at this, I think we bought some puts. No, we sold some calls around the 34 level. Of course, with earnings, it got a haircut due to the overall popularity of Microsoft Teams coming in and really taking that scenario out of their book. Now, I actually read the other day that Slack is going to be working with Amazon now. So we'll see on how that looks at. With the 5 and 8 looking like the 8 has slightly crossed to the 21. We're looking here for potential support around the 200-day. That's going to be around the $28 level. Because again, with I'm doing air quotes right now, the virus being canceled, the stay-at-home, make work more efficient stocks are kind of just going, to the wayside. Take a drink of water. Kind of going to the wayside and just kind of not being the favored stocks anymore, due to the fact of people being able to go back to, I'm doing air quotes again, normal, to go back to their normal lives and not have the Slack platform. That being said, the 50-day here is going to be support for level 1 on the way down. Level 2, which is going to be the stronger support, is going to be around the $27, $28 level at the 200-day exponential moving average. But again, with the parabolic SER has switched the last 2 or 3 days since earnings, and then the overall momentum of the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21. Never really a great sign unless they come out with some fantastic news sometime this week for a potential kick higher. Not really a biggest fan here. On the weekly side, the momentum has switched here again. Not too much data because this is a somewhat newer IPO as well. Let's see here. Greg B, what's up, my friend? I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? Let's see here. Greg B, TJX. Is that that's the clothing brand, right? Interesting. I like it. It's interesting. So the 200-day is going to be super key here. It kind of closed below the 21 here, but you can kind of see here the 34, which is the orange line, has come in for some support here. Give it a nice warm cookie and a pat on the back. Looking for some overhead downward resistance here. Potentially, if the overall market sells off tomorrow even more, and what other reasons, more virus spikes up or whatever, we could be seeing some lowers around the $50 level. But that being said, I kind of do like this potentially going higher. Again, the 5 and 8 need to kind of stop going down so drastically and start curling up. Charles, for futures, gotta be very careful. If I'm scalping futures, I'm literally just doing it on like super small intervals, and I'm not holding it overnight because that's just scary. Of just having your phone on alert mode and basically just hearing the price alerts going ding, 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 and then you're like, oh shit, like. It's too nerve-wracking for me for trading futures. Let's see here. I appreciate the time you put in your videos. Thank you, my friend. I don't actually put too much time in the videos. I just kind of give you my honest opinion. I don't like to do crazy too much editing, but I like to kind of keep it real, in that lack of better words. K Thunder ZM. Let's do ZM and a couple more here. I'm going to be getting off here. Yeah, Greg B, the week is going to be mixed, but again, it's only going to be a week, and if you're a longer term investor, it could be a fantastic opportunity. Roberts, wow, thank you, man, for $4. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for the support. Let's go look at ZM. ZM long term, I think. So we tried to short this way back when, around the 150 level. Never got into it because it didn't break above it and kind of gapped up the time when we didn't want to short it. That being said, long term, I think this is going to be around for some time due to the fact of people needing getting used to the convenience of video conferencing and just being able to do things they never thought they could at home. So I think this is going to be, if companies are moving from a single location to more remote satellite locations, I think ZM is going to be a huge component of that. That being said, on the chart side, it's literally been just riding higher. Like, it is very, very highly extended here. But again, that is giving it a slightly high premium due to the fact of people really love this, and it's really a high performer in the sense of what people are getting out of it. It's really changing on how we work. So looking at the 275 price target, I kind of have that up there for like a crazy, again, that's my price target for this year potentially. So this is a stock that's kind of been on my radar. Not in it, not trading it at all. Like I said, we wanted to actually go short it, but after doing some evaluations and different various things, that price target up here could be a price target by the end of the year. That's if the overall market continues going higher as well. USO. Nikola, Tesla, we did space. So space is looking at just trading around the 200-day exponential moving average, was around 15 to the 1450 level, potentially just trading sideways. If it starts breaking lower, follow your trading plan and get out, or it could potentially kick higher, waiting on for the next great news within the space exploration and space flight. Let's see here. Let's just do Lulu. Andrew, so Lulu had a quarter last week. Again, kind of missed, but you can kind of see the power of the 21 exponential moving average. Came down to the 21, kind of broke through it by its smaller part of the wick, but just kind of traded above it. Looking for, again, people love their yoga pants. Between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average, kind of, again, these are the very elevated momentum side of trading here. So these are not ones I'm going to be looking at for some movement. The 21 and the 34 would be my really longer, or my trend lines, lack of better words. The 21 has come in multiple times here on its last run up for support here, and even here initially for the last 2 or 3 months. If you start seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, that 34 is going to be coming in around the 265, 264 level. I kind of have a price target in between the 34 and 50 at, again, 250 level. That's going to be my, I won't say worst case, but a case if everything kind of goes sour for Lulu really fast there. Hopefully that was helpful. Joe Cummins, Roku. Yeah, we can do Roku again, so I'll do that one really quick for you. Initially on Roku, it needs to break above its 200-day exponential moving average, which would be around 213, 213.50. It has been trading below the 21, which we really don't like. It does have a squeeze potentially building up. The momentum has started again with the parabolic SAR starting below it. Again, we kind of got out of this due to the fact of a lot of people were switching from the work from home environment to come back in. That being said, we could see this just kind of trading sideways. If it starts breaking below 100, because we had that gap up here pre-earnings, we could be seeing getting to this level, really strong level of support here around 100 to 97 to 98 level on the way down. Potentially upward support, upward overhead resistance going to be again that 113, 114, and then potentially trying to break above 120 for some potential further upside. Yeah, Apple has just really been trading around its 8 or 21 there. Craig B. We'll see what happens in that. Microsoft. Let's do Microsoft. So Microsoft sold some puts in this when it got down to the 21. It's really been holding the 21 very well. It has kind of traded sideways for the last month or so. But again, this is a lot of people kind of look at this as Microsoft of Steve Ballmer days, where it was just like nothing really innovating. Microsoft is really killing it in a lot of different sections with Microsoft Teams, 365, and different various things like that. It's been performing very well. Not meaning it can't go down. We don't have a crystal ball here without a doubt. That being said, we can see, again, support, really strong support in between the 21 and 34. So I'm going to give you a price of like 185 to 183 for some ongoing support, with the parabolic SAR still below it, which is great. Again, just hitting an all-time high literally 2 or 3 days ago, so that's very strong as well. FSLY. Fastly? I don't even know what this is. What does this do? What's Fastly? So, it looks like it had a wonderful quarter here, and it's been riding up here. Been riding up really strong here for sure. Let's see. I'm not sure what they do, but this looks really great. This must be doing some kind of integrative stuff. Can you give me a quick one-sentence line on what this company does really fast? So it kind of just been trading sideways again. Since this quarter, it's been trading between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average very aggressively. Even though with the overall downturn in the market, you couldn't even tell looking at the stock. That being said, 21 is going to be the first line of support around 42.80ish. Overall upside potential is high because in the sense of the 50-day, the $50 price target here for potential breakout. It looks like it's a fairly newer stock as well. Look like it came online about a year ago exactly, and now it's kind of like breaking out to break its trend. So it looks really good. Edge computing CPU. Okay, I like it. I like that actually a lot. Good call there. I like that. Let's do Netflix. Netflix. Netflix, what are we going to do with you? So, I don't know how to look at this one, honestly. I want to be positive about it, but it's just been trading sideways. I'm trying to figure out, I don't like to let the fundamental analysis come into my brain here with Netflix on the sense of how much it costs for them to create content and how much they have to pay for it, and now with more competition in the market, like is this going to be taking their shares away? But if you look at looking at the market, people will be like, I'll pay $5 more for Netflix. That being said, we'll see. For Netflix, it's really tightly wound right now. We really need to see it potentially try to break higher if you're long for sure. It's just between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average is really tangled up. So you have the 34 in there as well, and the 50-day. The 50 days have been kind of somewhat a support here for Netflix, not to the T, but the parabolic SAR has kind of come in to kind of give it some support again. If it starts breaking below like the 405 to 400 level, we could be seeing some downside. Again, that downside is going to be pretty drastic to around the 365 level. But again, it's going to take a lot of momentum for it to take it that lower to get to that price target. That being said, we can just do a quick little fib here. We're going to do the swing high to swing low. Again, needs to get above the 435 level potentially to kind of see a further breakout to try to get to the all-time highs as well. Guys, on that note, I actually have to call it a night. Oh, you got it. Oh, you bought it Netflix at $295. Good for you, my friend. You actually did. Marcus asked about KR, so we can look at KR one last time. That is actually one that is coming out for earnings. So with earnings here, that is what you're seeing here with this outline here. KR, we're looking at again the 34, kind of breaking above the 34, potentially before earnings. If things start selling off with the overall market, we could be seeing prices target around $31 to $30 tomorrow potentially. Into earnings, so we have to be careful on that. I might want to roll my calls on a later date to kind of give more times to mature and give me some nice pretty money. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, we've been streaming for nearly 2 hours. I really appreciate everyone coming out. I really do appreciate everyone who donated as well. If you have any questions, go ahead and join the Discord or the Patreon page, and I'll get to your questions as quick as possible. I know sometimes I'm a little bit slow on the Discord because again we have a lot of people coming in there, and it's hard to kind of keep up with. Like I don't know how many people we got on Discord. We got 34 online right now and 279 offline. So I'm just gonna say we basically have 320-ish people in Discord. That being said, there's quite a few people in there, and there's a lot of stock ideas in there. So again, it's free to join. Check that out. Again, we'll be doing some more live streams potentially this week, and I will let you guys know when those come out. Again, more videos will be coming down moving forth here as well. Johnny Bravo, thank you for telling people to subscribe. I really do appreciate it, guys. Guys, you guys have a wonderful day. Overall markets right now are somewhat trading lower again. To kind of give you key takeaways before you head off to bed or Z-Town is we kind of want to see it kind of trade not in and around the 200-day exponential moving average. So on the SPY, that would be around like 295 potentially. If it breaks that, we have some really key price targets lower. We can go the SPY real fast. Again, that 295 to 292 level is going to be keen. The 290-ish level is going to be strong. If that kind of breaks, we kind of could fall very steeply over the next couple days to the 262 again. But with that, that means the 5 and 8 exponential moving average needs to really break through the 21, really strong selling pressure needs to kind of kick in. Again, anything can happen. We could just be trading sideways for a little bit and potentially between the 311 to 290 range for some time to kind of get things leveled off here. Again, guys, on that note, I'm heading to bed. You guys have a great night, and we'll be chatting soon. Take it easy, guys. Peace.